Oh, a lot, man. We've been working on real hard on getting our new record done, and finally we've got everything tracked. The artwork looks great, so it's going to go to press next week, and then we're shooting for a mid-May release date, probably around the 13th. Still kind of working that out, but man, we're excited about it. We're playing out a lot and trying to get some fans and get the word out, get the music out there.
Okay, so
It's very different from Turn It On, Turn It Up. This record, The Day in the Dark is what it's called, really took all of like 3 years to write. And the songs are a little heavier, definitely darker in a way, but they still, everything still has that same, vibe and sound that we have on Turn It On, Turn It Up. American rock and roll. It's rooted in blues and southern rock, but there's hints of metal in there, hints of classical music in there. I mean, just kind of everything thrown together. But it's still what we do. It's just a little bit more of it. I think we've evolved. Going from those songs on Turn It On, Turn It Up. A lot of those songs I had written back when I was still living in San Diego. So that was really kind of finding our sound when we went and recorded that and released that one. And I think this one we're expanding on the sound that we found, like what it was that we did. And I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited to see where it's going to go.
Okay.
Well, Nashville, I was in a band for a long time out in San Diego, and we played LA, not a lot, but we played it enough to know that it really, it wasn't. I don't think it wasn't really our cup of tea. I think you kind of get swallowed up over there. And when I moved out here, or moved out to Nashville, I think there was just more opportunity for me as a guitar player at the time to kind of get my feet wet and join a good band or create put a band together versus what LA had to offer. Plus, and it was a good, I had toured through Nashville before. I fell in love with the city and the surrounding city and the people, and it was a good place to if I was going to make the change from San Diego, that was where I wanted to go. So I love the South, and just fit in. No, I did. That's kind of like how it all, for me, when we got to Nashville, I joined this country rock cover band, and just like on a whim, just to kind of get my feet, get out there and start playing, and I'm a big Skinner freak, so in the ad that I saw, said southern rock, country rock, Skinner, all this stuff like that, and I was like, oh, dude, that's right up my alley. So I figured I'd go, and I was in Nashville for maybe 2 weeks before I went to the audition, and the band consisted of two former members of Bo's band. Bo was out on American Idol during the time, and so that's kind of like how that all worked its way. I joined that band, and then Bo came off of Idol, and then his band needed a guitar player, so I auditioned, and I got the gig that day. So, but it was a great, learning experience. My drummers, still was the guy. Shane was the guy that was in, Bo's band as well. So, so we've been playing together for 10 years almost now. Forever, I think. Still working on that. That was one thing. Like when I was a kid, when I learning how to play electric guitar, Leonard Skinner was the band that really blew the doors open for me as far as learning how to solo and what it meant, what melody meant, working your phrasings in your solos, not just playing a bunch of notes, but actually playing melodies, and making your solos matter. And all them, so I would sit in my room and just play and play and play to the tape over and over and over and over and over, and then stop it, rewind it, and play it again, and try and get that lick, and so it took a long time. But I always knew that I didn't want to go out and just play that song, because a lot of people will say, play Freebird, and then you see people like, almost like murder it in a way. So we didn't want to go out and do that and deface the name of, deface the song in the name of Leonard Skinner or the writers, obviously. So, it's a lot of hard work, but it's I love the song and I love the band, so.
Still doing that in life?
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna do it tonight. I think it depends on time, but we'll see. You never know. But yeah, no, I mean, and what's funny is like people, you get the people that'll heckle, play Freebird, in your set, and I always say, well, just be careful what you wish for, and you might get it.
Yeah, but if you're gonna do it, at least you do it well.
So we try, we try. So, but yeah, man, I mean, it's it's all good. Yeah, we'll be out. We'll be out. I think we go back home on the 20th for a couple of days, and then we go down to Georgia for 2 shows, and then we come back for like a week and a half, and then we go back out mid-May for all of May, for the second half of May. So, and that'll be basically, once the record's released, probably day of our tour, basically. That's usually how it works. I'll come up with the song structure, melody and lyrics, bring it in, and then we'll kind of jam through some ideas of the dynamics of how things work out. A lot of the stuff, like I write basically everything on my acoustic guitar before I even bring it into the room. Or if we come up with, I'll come up with a riff when we're jamming, I'll take it back, move it onto an electric or acoustic, and then sit with it and write it. And then come back in with more of a finished work. It seems to work out a little better that way as far as conveying, the idea of how I want the song to be. I can give the band a structure and then we can work from there. I mean, I think that's why, we want to keep coming back up here because, our music goes over very well here. And, every time we come back, we're gaining fans. And that's, obviously the goal. So. This time in particular, we had people, sending emails and Facebook messages and tweets and, asking us when we were going to be back up here. So, that's exactly what we want. We want people to want us, to come play. So,
I think that was after about 2 months after the last time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that's totally the goal is to be like, hey, we did our job last time and it shows because now these fans want us to come back and play the town again. That's, that always makes you feel good as a band and as, a working band, to have people go and request, please come back. It's been way too long since we saw you live, so, it's always a good time.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be all the digital distribution sites. Obviously my website. Obviously we'll have physical copies and stuff. And, we're working on revamping all of our social media, our website right now. Rebranding all of our stuff to reflect the new artwork and kind of what we're putting out there for this run. We have some new merchandise things coming. So it's all going to be stepped up, and we're excited for that. It's very cool. That was always kind of like what I had envisioned how I wanted it to come out, and a friend of ours, her name is Blair Smart. She plays in a band called Absence Junk, and she's a super talented individual. I mean, she's an awesome artist, songwriter, and she's an amazing keyboard player, graphic artist. I mean, she just does it all, and I put a post out on Facebook just saying, hey, I need some recommendations for graphic artists when we were starting to do this. And I thought about asking her, but I knew how busy she was, so I didn't. And she actually replied to that amongst some other people and said that she would love to do it. And so I jumped on it. And it came out awesome. And we went back and forth through a ton of different ideas and different mock-ups and stuff like that. But the end result has been something that, really cool. She just did an amazing job. So, and that's going to be, that's our thing. And for me, it's kind of, represents kind of what we are. It's battered and bruised and, worn out, but it's still flying. And that's rock and roll right now. American rock and roll is still going, even though it's not, up here. It's not necessarily the mainstream, music media right now, but there's still a huge, want and need for rock and roll. So.
So, and if anybody doubts that, they just need to come see you live.
Well, yeah, that's it.
All right, well, that's all we got. We'll look forward to the new album.
Cool, man.
All right.
Thanks for having me.